babe. But I gotta say, I don't wanna waste no more time trying to shake the feelings inside. Finally got made up my mind. Can't go one more day without you. No, no, no. Lately there's something that's missing. Empty bed doesn't feel empty hearts. Typical me reminiscing. A memory doesn't heal open scars. Late night drinking, wishful thinking. What if you were here? Morning and waking, heart still aching. Something about the way you make me feel. I don't wanna mess up your night. I don't wanna put up a fight. I don't wanna trouble you, babe. But I got to say, I don't wanna waste no more time trying to shake the feelings inside. Finally got made up my mind. Can't go one more day without you. Can't go one more day without you. No, no, can't go one more day. No, I can't. One more day without you. Can't go one more day. I can't go one more day without you. No, I can't go one more day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good morning. Good morning. 3 humans worse than COVID. I want that to kick off the conversation this morning. Hope you're doing well. It's a beautiful Friday. We all made it. And my name is Nathan Ivey, and it's great to be with you as well. Good morning. Welcome back to the Nathan Ivey Show. Trigger warning, you may be triggered if you are sensitive, if you're unaccustomed to hearing the unfiltered truth. Although in these days, things done changed. It's a whole new world of media out there. So perhaps you're more accustomed to it than you were maybe a few years ago. Whatever the case may be, you made it. Hey, what's up, Anthony? Thanks for the share. I appreciate you. You made it. Welcome back to the last honest place in Cincinnati media, if not the world, if not America, if the world. Good morning. I've got today is a super, super big day for me. I got a bunch of stuff going on. And so what are we starting here? About 7:48. You've got me until about 9 a.m. this morning, and then I got to make a few moves. And I'll be back with you, hopefully, better than ever on Monday morning. I'm going through some changes with the show. You know, sometimes you got to take a hard look at what you're doing and step back and try to be as objective as possible. And I've been talking about this. I'm not the kind of person that likes to stay inside the box. I hate to be inside my comfort zone. I hate to feel comfortable. I've been feeling way too comfortable lately, and I need to change that. I need to push the envelope. I'm not like other people. You know, a lot of people like to stay inside the comfort zone and everything feels safe and secure and they know what to expect. That's cool. It's got its virtue. But for me, the best things in life are just outside your grasp. And I'm not feeling that. I haven't been feeling it for some time. So I just got to make some changes with this show, with what I'm doing, with my life in general, quite honestly. And you'll be not the first, but you'll be one of the first persons to know. But it shouldn't be anything that's too drastic. But I don't know. Like I said, I've said it before. And then when I put it out there, people misinterpret it. They try to talk about some kind of midlife crisis. I don't feel any of that. It's just the way you view life. You know what I'm saying? I mean, can anybody feel me on that? Can you feel me on that? When I start to feel comfortable, I feel like I'm not moving fast enough. And so I got to do things to make myself feel uncomfortable. Some people may know what I'm talking about. There might be some few out there like, Nate, I feel you. Others may not know any idea what I'm talking about. And that's cool too. But just keep your eyes on what on this page, and keep your eyes on what we're doing on social media, and perhaps you'll see for yourself. Good morning. Being comfortable is death to me. I don't want to be comfortable. I don't want things to be easy. I don't want to know what to expect every single day. It gets boring, right? Life is all about the unexpected. It's all about that new thing. To me, anyway. I could be different. I could be alone. Good morning to you. Casey writes, good morning, Nate, and all the intelligent shoppers, sending positive, powerful vibrations to everyone. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Good morning. Humans worse than COVID is the QAnon father follower who killed his kids ordered by QAnon leaders. I'm having a deja vu moment right now. Having a deja vu moment. Good morning to you. But as always, there are numerous things to discuss. Just yesterday, President Biden addressed the nation on COVID. He addressed the nation on COVID because we got too many humans that are worse than COVID. And now we got all these new COVID protocols and processes that he's going to put in place. And the focus is people who are unvaccinated. And I blame people like Donald Trump and people like Busta Rhymes. Never thought I'd put those two men in the same category, but Donald Trump and Busta Rhymes. You know, these mofos out here spreading fake news. It's amazing to you. Look at that image right there. 3 humans worse than COVID. This actually, I'm going to play the video for you. This actually, I mean, this kind of stuff is happening all over the country. I love to report on it. This happened down in Florida where an anti-masker got into a heated argument in an Apple store because they asked him to leave. And he said, I ain't going nowhere. It's the masks themselves that are hurting people. And at this point, I think we've already heard it, you know, why are you wearing a mask? And there's a lot of misinformation out there about whether masks are effective. And so the reality is obviously anytime you put a covering over your face, that's going to give you some level of either blocking what's coming out of your mouth and your nose or what's going into it. But depending on what type of mask it is, definitely has a connection to the efficacy. It definitely does. There are some masks that are more effective than others. Some people have those masks. Some people don't. But if you don't have anything, it's better to wrap it up with a mask, even if it's a cloth mask. Now, everybody knows this. But you got these darn humans worse than COVID running around here like they really got a point. You got people like Donald Trump and Busta Rhymes that put a battery in their back. F the mask. They have no idea what they're talking about. They are far more dangerous than they are useful. And meanwhile, in the black community, I'm reading this morning from the Griot that black children are seeing an alarming uptick in the illness. And in particular, black and Latino boys are hit the hardest by infections and hospitalizations. And I can only wonder if some of this is because of a lot of misinformation. Yo, check it. Your kids can't go to school unless they have certain vaccinations. Why is that acceptable, but the vaccination for COVID is not? I get it. We live in the world of fake news. I understand. I already understand. But I'll tell you, what we're seeing with this COVID situation, family, is another example of what I've told you before. That if you're trying to impact somebody, it's far easier to impact somebody, to push somebody in a direction that they're already leaning, rather than trying to push them in the opposite direction. You find out what somebody cares about. You find out a way that somebody's already leaning, and you just push them further in that direction. That's what the Russians did back in 2016, and it worked masterfully. And that's what some of these anti-vaxxers and people are falling and succumbing to right now. Especially in the black community, is already a very valid distrust of the medical industry and the government, with facts on facts on facts and history facts on history facts on history facts to back that all up, right? You got plenty of that. So when COVID comes along, you got all these conspiracy theories, man. It just plays right into people's fears that they already have. Again, some of those fears are very, very valid. Meanwhile, as I said, it's been reported this morning that there's an alarming uptick in the illness in black children. Black and Latino children. And of course, yesterday, Joe Biden announced new COVID mandates during his presidential address. Would you like to know what they are? Sure, you would. I'll share them with you here in a second. It's a 6-step COVID plan that he's putting in place for the fall. 6-step COVID plan that the president's going to put in place for the fall. And do we need a 6-step approach? We need something. I mean, a lot of the plan is, trying to get at people who are unvaccinated. Now, again, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your body. You do what you want to do with your body. I'm just here to tell you the facts and give you a strong opinion. You decide for yourself. But the sweeping new vaccine mandates are supposed to touch about 100 million Americans. About 100 million Americans. Now, how is this pandemic recovery plan going to impact Ohio? Well, on one part of it, they're trying to release more money for small businesses, for entrepreneurs, for people that might be affected by it. If you got a PPP loan, PPP or PPE loan, then they want to make the path for forgiveness of that loan a little bit faster, a little bit easier. They're going to put more navigators in place so people that have small businesses can navigate their way and find the money that they might be eligible for. That's all gravy. We love that. You talking about the MONEY? We loving that. Basically, it comes down to this: vaccinating the unvaccinated, further protecting the vaccinated through booster shots, keeping the schools open because for whatever reason, they feel like the schools got to stay open. I don't get it. Increasing testing and requiring masks, protecting the economic recovery, which I just gave you a couple of details, and improving care for those who have COVID-19. Those are the broad 6 rungs of the 6 steps of the COVID-19 plan. We can get more detailed this morning if you need me to do that. Just let me know. You can leave a comment or you can just give me a call. Again, vaccinating the unvaccinated. If you are an employer and you've got more than 100 employees, then the Biden administration is saying, look, we want vaccine mandates. And if you don't have vaccine mandates, we want regular testing of your employees. What else here? Keeping the schools open. The Biden administration is 100% in agreement that they want to keep the schools open. I can see the other side of the argument. Again, I've received 4 notifications that my daughter may have come in contact with someone with COVID. I've received none from my son to this point, but I've received 4 so far, one of which was a close contact notification. As a parent, what are you supposed to do with this? What am I supposed to do with this? Am I supposed to pull my kid out? It's almost like, why are you even telling me this? Because I can't do anything about it. But it is what it is. I mean, great. CPS is notifying parents. If they weren't, we'd have a problem with it. So I guess that's a good thing. We'll take that as a good thing. But this is where we are. And I want to say this again to all my unvaccinated people and all you obstinate humans worse than COVID. This can get worse. Don't think that we can't be locked down in quarantine again. That can happen. That can happen all across the country. If it sparks up and infections, well, they're already through the roof. Every county in Ohio is red right now. Every county in Ohio is red. But we can't remember how we started. We started all of this with a quarantine lockdown. We was locked down for about 3-4 weeks. Remember this? They were restricting your movements. Don't go anywhere unless it's essential. Grocery store, work, that's it. Childcare, maybe. Remember when the childcare facility shut down? That can return. I know we all in our magnificent arrogance, which we do well as Americans. We do arrogance well as Americans, but it is what it is. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134 if you like to share your thoughts this morning. You got me for about an hour. That's all I got in the tank today. I got a bunch of shit going on. Some professional, some personal, quite honestly. Good morning to you. Fame Rothstein writes, good morning, everyone, especially all the chicken heads from Pasadena to Medina, which he would be one of. Akeem writes, humans worse than COVID is a QAnon father follower who killed his kids ordered by QAnon leaders. I'll say it again, my friends. Just look around. We are living in the last days of common sense. The last days of common sense. And the last days of common sense come right before the last biblical days. So who knows how much time we got left here? Nothing makes sense anymore. A few things make sense anymore. Can't rely on anything, it seems like. But again, I'm not sure how much you missed, how much you watched yesterday, or maybe you missed all of it. You had a big meeting yesterday from Joe Biden as he addressed the nation. And basically, they're getting sick of it. The Biden administration is losing its patience with humans worse than COVID. Our patience is wearing. So what I like to know, Mr. Joe Biden, is what happens when your patience wears out? What happens then? Dr. Fauci says that we are still in pandemic mode until daily infections drop to under 10,000 per day. So we're still in pandemic mode. Doesn't really feel like we're still in pandemic mode. If we're still in pandemic mode, then why are people going to concerts? Why are people going to these events? Why are the schools open? Doesn't really feel like pandemic mode. I mean, if we're in pandemic mode, we surely aren't acting like it. Dr. Fauci says that the coronavirus infections are 16 times higher than what's needed to end the public health crisis. 16 times higher. We are where we are. It is what it is. Good morning to you. Welcome to the last days. Welcome to the last days. You want to see this video? This dude is wilding out. This is on World Star. You can check it out for yourself. If you're in those kind of things, you check it out later. You want to see this? Dude is wilding out. He's cursing. There is some extreme language. I'll give you a heads up on that. He's cursing. He's standing his ground. He thinks he's really got a point. These are some of the funniest videos when people think they've really got a point, and you're looking at them like, this makes no sense whatsoever. This makes no sense whatsoever. Check this out.
I'm not going anywhere. I'll call the cops. You know, you are a punk. Punk. What are you wearing a mask for? The governor said to wear masks? Huh? The governor said to wear masks? Answer the question. Then answer. Did he say to wear masks? Did you say to wear masks?
People just walking around like none of our business, none of our business.
Governor said pass a mask mandate. No, he didn't. You know why? Because they don't work. You study the science, they don't work. Masks do not work. They hurt people. They hurt the children. You're hurting the children. You're hurting the children. You are.
You're hurting the children. That's a new one on me. I thought that masks were effective in helping to prevent, like, let's say you've got COVID or whatever. If you wear a mask, it helps to prevent you spreading it. That's what I thought. And of course, it depends on the type of the mask. Can we come to some consensus on this? Why is this still up for debate? And here we are this far into the pandemic. He says it hurts the children. What children have been hurt by wearing a mask? And he said, oh, you're a puppet. You're a puppet. That's one of the most ridiculous arguments I've ever heard. You're a puppet because you wear a mask. I keep saying, and I've been saying this since the beginning of the pandemic, all these people talking all this jazz about how they don't want to do this and don't want to do this and my rights. But when you leave your home and you go to a grocery store or department store or any kind of business, you wear shoes, shirt, socks, not always socks, but you wear shoes, shirts, pants, because if you don't, you're not going to get served. They're going to kick you out. If you doubt what I'm saying, you try to walk into an establishment with your shirt off. You go into a restaurant with your shirt off and your pants off and see what happens. Somebody's going to come over and politely tap you and say, you know what? We got a dress policy. Every single day, Americans adhere to all kind of rules. But when it comes to a mask, they want to get all 1776 about it. Absolutely ridiculous. Can we come to some consensus on this, please? Humans worse than COVID. What is this man talking about? I blame Busta Rhymes because he looks like a Busta Rhymes fan. He looks like a Busta Rhymes fan, and Busta Rhymes sounded like the dumbest black man ever created on stage last week talking about F the mask. Can't nobody tell me to wear no mask. Meanwhile, you put that seatbelt on every time you get in your car. Why? Because the government told you to do it. When you go into a restaurant, you got on a shirt, you got on some slacks or some shorts, you got on shoes. You try to do it. You try to do it. And you try to say, you're a puppet. You're a puppet because you got a shirt on. It's the most ridiculous thing, man. We need a big island where we take all the anti-vaxxers and all the human worse than COVID and we just leave them there and let them fend for themselves and see who comes. It could be like a reality television show. Could be kind of interesting. Or maybe not. Anthony writes, morning Chop Shop. Good morning to you, Anthony. Andrielle writes, good morning, Nate. Happy Friday. Jerome writes, TGIF, Nate and the Choppers. Ashley writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Happy Friday. Ashley writes, really like this song. Thank you so much. Brandy writes, greetings. Happy Friday. Absolutely. They always come in one after one another. Brandy Waddle and Brandy Renee. Are y'all like coordinating? I mean, I don't want you to stop, but damn, it's Friday. Good morning. Enjoy your weekend. Good to see you, Brandy. Eloise is in the house. Good morning, Eloise. Good to see you. She writes, good morning. Happy Friday. Deshauna writes, good morning, Nathan and all. Happy Friday. Good to see you. Fame writes, good morning. My picks went 4-2 yesterday, so money was made. I was also on Drop Squad 52 podcast again. He always supported the alt middle, so I'm going to support him. That's great. Who won the Dallas game? I have no idea. I didn't even watch it. Cowboys? I have no idea. I have no idea. Looks like the Buccaneers won 31-29. Okay. You said Dallas was going to win. Buccaneers won, huh? They might be repeating. That's what happens when you got a good team and a dope quarterback. It could happen. Oh yeah, the Bengals open up on Sunday, right? Yeah. Okay. So all my Bengal fans, you got something to do this weekend. Should be fun. It's a home game too, right? Yeah. Should be fun. Darlene writes, happy Friday, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you, Darlene. Tracy writes, good morning, peeps. Good to see you. Daryl writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Clarence writes, morning, Choppers. Jared writes, good morning, hashtag team and I. Regina writes, good morning, happy Friday. Bunky writes, morning, what's up, Nate and Choppers? Grand risings on the Biden sexuals of the Chop Shop. Congratulations on your authoritarian bigot, Jim Crow Joe. Oh my God, this man will not stop. Fame writes, good morning to everyone. I think I read it already. Nat writes, TGIF Choppers, good morning to you. So I wasn't able to go, but I did get a heads up. I mean, the show ends at 10. But I hope he's listening. I'd love to get him on the show. But yesterday there was a big press conference. I think this is interesting local news that the Charter Right Committee has a new president, and it's a black man. Yeah, you didn't know that? Well, you better ask somebody. His name is Derek Dansby. You can find him on Instagram, Downtown Dansby. A good brother. And I wasn't able to attend, but check this out here. I want to show you all of that because you're gonna see some stuff you really shouldn't see. Hold on one second. There it is. This was from yesterday. Check this out. Brother Derek Dansby. He's a new president of the Charter Right Committee. That's Yvette Simpson to his right. Yeah. And then a whole bunch of folks. Some folks are elected officials, or not elected officials, but they are endorsed by the Charter Right Committee, along with some members of the community. There it is. Can you see that? Yeah. So props to Derek Dansby. I put the word out. I'm not sure if he got my message. Now, Derek, if you listen, I'd love to get you on the show to talk about what that means. What does that mean exactly? You know, I'm a black man that votes in Cincinnati. Okay, now, what does that mean exactly? You know, what is it that the Charter Right Committee has that should get my vote? Why should I pay attention to them? I'd love to hear it. Casey writes, good morning, Nate and all the intelligent shoppers. I think I read that already. Brandy writes, yup, got to take risks sometimes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I just need to take. I just need more. I take risks all the time, but I'm just starting to feel like I'm in a comfort zone. You know what I'm talking about? In a comfort zone. Like people say this to me all the time. They're like, Nate, I love to hear you on the radio. And when I say this to people, I can tell they think I'm just saying this just because that's what you're supposed to say. I mean it. It's the best thing ever because sometimes you can get comfortable in a certain situation and you can't really spread your wings. And sometimes you got to get pushed out the nest. And that's how I look at it, man. And I'm starting to feel that way again. And maybe I just need a new environment or something like that. I've been doing it from the home office for a while. It's great. It's great. It's nothing like walking down from your bedroom straight into your office and connecting with the world. But I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'm gonna spend some time meditating over the weekend. Brenda writes, "Happy Friday." Dale writes, "I feel you, Nate. I was comfortable living in Cincinnati and chose an opportunity for personal and professional growth in my late 30s. Road is challenging, but learned so much about myself. Keep challenging yourself, right? You got to keep challenging yourself." Anthony writes, "Knuckleheads come in all shades, Nate. Absolutely." Gladys writes, "Good morning, Nate and the Choppers. What a beautiful Friday." It is. Yesterday was absolutely gorgeous, man. I had a great day. Got out here and got it in. Had a great time. Tiffany writes, "Good morning, all. As soon as the show ends, I got to get it in. Then I got some things I got to take care of." Lemmy writes, "Good morning." Glenn writes, "Good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Happy Friday." Fame writes, "God damn, this vaccination talk has clearly jumped the shark and chapped my ass at this point. Either get the vaccine or don't. But stop shaming folks who do or don't. There is good reason to take the thing, and there's good reason to not trust the government. Damn, let it go. We can't let it go because we're in the middle of a pandemic. Can't let it go. Can't let it go. You know what I'm saying? We're in the middle of a pandemic. You got to talk about it." Lemmy writes, "Pray without ceasing in action. If you don't get this shot, I'm going to take your livelihood away from you and say it was your fault." I mean, listen, everybody has a choice out here. And if you made the choice to work for another organization, to have an employer, then they set the standards. They set the standards. Do what you got to do. Hey, Shannon's in the house. Well, good morning, Shannon. She writes, "The COVID vaccine is only the mRNA vaccination. It changes how your body fights viruses too. New of a vaccine of this type and not long enough term data. Get if you choose, but shouldn't be mandatory." You say it shouldn't be mandatory. I mean, legally speaking, I mean, employers can decide. They can decide. Now, if you work for yourself, you ain't got to worry about none of that. You do what you got to do, unless you're sharing an office or something like that. Or other than that, you got to do what you got to do. Nikki writes, "Unbelievable." Lemmy writes, "Lockdown again. I doubt it." Well, I seriously don't think that it's at the top of mind, but I'm just here to tell you that don't get all comfortable in our humanness. It can happen again. If this thing takes a turn for the worse, or there's a new variant that is resistant to the current vaccine, we could be back in a lockdown quarantine situation. I'm just telling you. Anthony writes, "Some people cool with sending their kids to school unvaccinated and no mask until their child dies." Very, very sad. It's a Friday. You know, I like to mix it up. And today will be no different. I want to mix it up with you. There's a lot of things going on. I already showed for you a video of this dude who was wilding out in the Apple store down in Florida. You know, down in Florida, I'd imagine they got a lot of people that support the governor. He's one of these anti-vaxxers, anti-maskers type, a Trump clone. And he's probably got a lot of support down there. So I'm not surprised to see and to hear that there's other people in Florida that feel that way. I guess that's what makes America what it is, but it's also very, very dangerous. Charles writes, "Grand Risings, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you." Lynn writes, "Good morning, great people." Good morning to you. Tabitha writes, "Good morning. Let's chop it up." Absolutely. Absolutely. TNT writes, "She missed it." Oh, you missed it? I'll play it again for you. You know me. I will play it again for you, sis. Don't worry. I got you. Hold on one second. Dude, there is some extreme language. I'll say that first. There's some extreme language, so heads up for the little ones. We care about the babies. The alt middle stole that from us. We cared about the kids way before the alt middle said anything about it. Copycats. But check this out.
Governor says pass a mask mandate. No, he didn't. You know why? Because they don't work. You study the science, they don't work. Masks do not work. They hurt people. They hurt the children. You're hurting the children. You're hurting the children. You are.
So you're hurting the children. He said, did the governor, but you also talking about Ron DeSantis, right? Who is a Trump clone. So you can't take what he did or didn't do as like some kind of science. But I wanted to know, do masks provide protection against COVID? And I'm at the CDC. And what they read, what their answer reads is masks may help prevent people who have COVID-19 from spreading the virus to others. Wearing a face mask may limit exposure to respiratory droplets and large particles and may help prevent people who have COVID-19 from spreading the virus. Now that hasn't changed. We've known that since early on. Yeah. So my thing about it is, if you in a situation with a stranger and they're all up in your face and all talking loud in your face, would you look at that differently now than before the COVID pandemic? I mean, do you look at that the same, or how do you register that? Bunky writes, Nate watches too much Fox News. I actually don't watch any Fox News, quite honestly, at all. Brenda writes, this country been sick for a long time. We just wearing masks now due to COVID-19. Absolutely. Lynn writes, I approve of the government measures on COVID-19. That's a great way of looking at it. Do you approve of the government's measures, the new measures on COVID-19? Biden is putting a whole lot more effort into vaccinating the unvaccinated. They're going to further protect the vaccinated by increasing booster shots. They're doing a bunch of stuff. So they want to make it more available for take-home COVID tests. They're going to drop the price with that. They want to expand where you can get a COVID test to pharmacies, Walmarts, everywhere. Okay, they want to make getting a COVID test as accessible as getting a gun. Right? I added that piece. They want to keep the schools open. That's a very important part of the strategy, keeping the schools open. I'm not sure if I agree with that part of the strategy, but it is what it is. Large employers are to ensure that workers are vaccinated, or else you got to get tested weekly. Is that fair or unfair? By large employers, they're saying businesses with over 100 employees. You either got 100 or 100 plus employees. Everybody gets vaccinated, or if you're not vaccinated, you got to get a COVID test every Friday. Every Friday before that electronic payment hits that bank account. Come on in here to the Human Resource Office. Yeah. And let's do this test. How's that sound? Vaccination are required for all federal workers, contractors that do business with the government. Vaccinations are required for over 17 million healthcare workers at Medicare, Medicaid hospitals. The Biden administration is calling on large entertainment venues to require proof of vaccination or testing. So that's sporting arenas, concert halls, even outdoor facilities. The Biden administration is saying, look, if you're going to do business, but either require proof of vaccination or require a negative test for entry, which is giving rise to a black market for all these kind of documents. They're going to require employers to provide paid time off so people can get vaccinated. How long does it take? It takes about an hour of your time, right? You drive to wherever you want to be. There might be a line, may not be a line. They hit you with the vaccination, you out. It really don't take a long time. Let me see. Providing easy access to booster shots for all eligible Americans. They want to ensure that Americans know where to get a booster shot. They got a brand new number. It's 1-800-232-0233. It's going to be available in over 150 languages. You can also text the code 438829 or use the WhatsApp to get vaccine information. So they're putting more and more and more attention on that. They're going to keep the schools open safely. Is that oxymoronic? Is it possible to keep the schools open safely during a pandemic? They're going to require staff in certain schools and programs to be vaccinated. They're calling on all states to adopt vaccine requirements for all school employees. Some of the schools are ahead of that. What else? Then you're going to use the full legal authority to protect access to in-person instruction. So that means that they want to make sure that the schools are open. Why is that so important to the Biden administration? Is that like a politics thing? They want to piss off parents across the nation? Parents might take it out on the Democrats. I don't know. They want students and staff to get tested regularly if you're in the schools. They're going to provide FDA resources to support review of vaccines for those under 12. So right now, everything has been on 12 and up, but soon they're going to be focused on 12 and under. So get ready for that. Yo, baby. They're going to increase testing and requiring masking. They're going to start doing more mobilizing of these rapid COVID test, home test. They're going to turn that to overdrive. They're going to make the home test more affordable. They're actually sending out free rapid and at-home tests to food banks and health centers. So people that socioeconomically or economically on the lower rung, they want to give it to you free. They want to expand free pharmacy testing. How does this feel to you? They want to protect our economic recovery. They wanted to add new support for small businesses impacted by COVID-19. They're going to strengthen the COVID Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, EIDL program, which provides low-term, low-cost loans. They got about $150 billion for that. They're going to streamline the PPP loan forgiveness for small businesses. Some of you or your friends and family might have got those PPP loans. And what they're going to do is they want to streamline the forgiveness. They want to make it so they'll send you a pre-completed application form. You sign it, you send it back in. The reviewers will deal with it, and they're going to try to forgive as much as possible. They're launching the Community Navigator program to connect small businesses with help. Okay. They're increasing support for COVID burden hospitals. What else here? Let me post a link for you. You can check this out for yourself. I just kind of ran through some of it, which I think is important. But just to give you a heads up on what the Biden administration wants to do. Now, how's that hit your ear? Does that make sense to you? Are you for this? Are you against this? I'd like to know what you think. Tell me what you think. Jerica writes, thanking God that our symptoms appear to be mild. What? Your symptom? What, you got COVID? You got coasted? You got COVID? Deborah writes, I absolutely agree with the new government mandates. Dale writes, I guess those stimulus checks were not after all. They making us pay now, my opinion. We're not free after all. Jerica writes, not sure what the issue is with wearing masks. Is not 100% protection, but something is better than nothing. If my husband's job mandated masks, maybe we wouldn't be fighting COVID right now. Wow. Y'all fighting COVID right now, huh? Absolutely. That's interesting. Clarence writes, the X-Clan rapped about this in the 90s. Wow. Rapped about what? Nikki writes, mask work. Dale writes, nope. As long as I have my mask, what they have on their face or don't doesn't bother me. I care for me. But again, Daryl, there's a difference. Like I got cloth masks. I got the ND94 masks, which studies show are the most effective. I typically wear the ND94 because it just gives me more protection. And sometimes I forget, or before I had it, I just rock a little trendy little cloth mask that either match, my vibe for the day or whatever I could grab before I was leaving the house. Curtis writes, no, you ain't with it, huh? Okay. Jay writes, the governor of Florida is a complete idiot. He may be. I don't know. I'm not in Florida. Shauna writes, getting vaccinated is a personal choice. As a parent, you don't want your child vaccinated or for them to wear a mask. Homeschool them. That's simple. I mean, you're right. That's an option. But homeschooling sounds a lot easier than what it really is. Curtis writes, the vaccine don't work. If the vaccine don't work, Curtis, then why is it being reported that the majority of people who are being hospitalized for COVID are unvaccinated people? Why is that? Let me put a question out there. And again, for Black people, I'll say it again. Your hesitancy, your concerns, your distrust about the government is completely validated. But is that being it, but is our fears harming us more than COVID? Is our fear harming us more than COVID? Are we caught in our fear, in our feelings, when we should be looking at the science and making better decisions? I don't know. Mike Will writes, Bengals will win this Sunday. We'll see. We'll see. I'm completely disconnected from the Bengals. It doesn't matter what they do. If they win, great for my friends. If they lose, great for my friends. I mean, it has no impact on me whatsoever. I'm completely disconnected from like that. I had to get off the bandwagon. Back when they had Rudy Tootie was down there with the red hair, I couldn't do it. Y'all did it, but I couldn't do it. Now they got this coach who to me seems like he is over his head. I'll say it again, but it is what it is. So we'll see what happens. I hope for the best. Hopefully they do whatever that, I guess, Super Bowl. That'd be great, I guess. I'll say it again to all my Bengals fans. If the Bengals win the Super Bowl, you're not going to get anything out of it. The only thing that's going to happen is your t-shirt sticker price is going to go up. The price of admission is going to go up. It's going to get a lot more expensive. That's it. But at least you'll feel good. I know. It's all about the feelings. All about the feelings. Before we go too deep in the show, I want to get a word in from our sponsor. Today's show is brought to you by my friends over at Renew Community Church. Check this out, and I'll be back on the other side.
The words for today are to grow a better business. It takes 60 seconds for the universe, through the invisible law of attraction, to be fully activated in your life. God's invisible law of attraction is available to you today because you are just 60 seconds away from growing a better business. Take the next 60 seconds and grow a better business by telling a business story for 60 seconds, 3 times a day for 21 days. Why 21 days? Because that's how long it will take to change your life. Now say this better business story out loud 3 times a day. It is my divine and human right as an entrepreneur to grow and prosper my business so that I can bless others. My business is growing, expanding, increasing in revenue and profits today. For a free ebook, visit renewcommunitychurch.org.
Again, for a free ebook, visit renewcommunitychurch.org, and you can download it this morning. Good morning to you. I have a surgical mask from the hospital. I wear 2. She's I wear 2. Shauna writes, I homeschooled for a whole year. Did you, Shauna? Damn, props to you. Kruther writes, become a Steeler fan, Nate. I could never do that. Even though I'm not really invested in the NFL, it's just some things that you just can't do. You know what I'm saying? It's just some things you just can't do. Glenn writes, I'm rooting against the Bengals, hoping Zach Taylor gets fired and hire ex-Bengal Eric Bieniemy. I'm just saying. I don't know if they would do that. Terrence writes, is the science using fear to try to get everyone vaccinated? Well, Terry, I thought we had already dealt with all of this, but apparently we have not. Do you believe that COVID has been killing people or not? That's really what it comes down to. Like, do you know anyone? Like, there's people like, John from Florida. He said his brother died from COVID. I know a bunch of people who have lost people through COVID. So are they making that all up? I don't think so. I don't believe it. Bunky writes, in January, Biden opened the country to illegal immigrants. They weren't vaccinated. Oh, but that didn't cause more COVID spreading. Ridiculous. Oh, really? I thought it did. Akeem writes, F the Bengals Super Bowl. I'd rather see another tensing trial. What? I don't want to see another tensing trial because they're going to retry Ray Tensing. That's one thing. But I don't want to see another tensing type trial because that means somebody black or somebody innocent lost their life just like Sandra Bowes did. I don't want to see that. Not at all. Not at all. So here we are. What are we? We are a month into the school year, and I still have yet to get any correspondence, and perhaps this is just not going to happen, on what CPS is going to do as it relates to Gabriel Taye. They put out this press release saying they came to some big agreement and then they're going to put some policies in place. I haven't received anything from CPS saying anything about any updated policies or what to expect. And I'm wondering if it's just going to get lost because everybody's focused on COVID right now. So I don't know. We'll find out. Speaking of school board, I will be your moderator on Tuesday. It'll be a virtual live streamed event. Cincinnati NAACP Prince Hall meeting, Prince Hall Masons. And you can check it out on their Facebook page. It'll be on CDM's page as well. And we'll get a chance to see get some questions and answers from the school board candidates. Is this the first forum that they've done? It's the first forum anybody's done with the school board? It may be. I hope that it's not the only one, but we shall see. So that's coming up on Tuesday evening. So, of course, I'll tell you more about it while we're here for sure. Did y'all see the TikTok video that's gone viral of the black woman who is playing her man, so to speak? Apparently she's dating a dude, right? And the dude is paying her bills, including her rent. But what he don't know is that she actually owns the building. She owns it. So when he pays the rent, he's actually paying her. And so this TikTok purportedly is her, like, showing off. Black woman. And she's like pointing to her head like, yeah, I'm smart. I'm playing this fool. And I'm like, what in the hell? And it's like almost like she's exposing herself. Have you seen this? I'll play it for you real quick. Now, this is just what's on WorldStar. I'll grab the original video for you. It's making the rounds. And I'm like, this is what girls is doing. This is what women doing out here these days. Can't trust nobody. Hold on, let me play through something real quick. Can't trust nobody. So apparently, he's paying the bills. He has no idea. Hold on, let me play this for you. He has no idea that when he pays the rent, he's actually paying her. Look at her. So me and my man been living in a place for a year now. He pays the rent and all major bills. Little do he know I'm the landlord and I own this place for 5 years now. What in the hell? See, that's the kind of stuff that women can get away with and they can put it out there and people think it's funny. If a man posted something like that, man, women everywhere would form Voltron and try to find this brother. But when it's a woman that does this, other women think that kind of stuff is funny. It's just the duplicitous nature of women. It's just how women are. When a woman does some crazy ish, it's funny. Oh, we get men back for everything men have ever done to women. When a man does something, oh, what's wrong with men? Where is your mama? You don't believe in God. I'm like, what in the, I don't understand this. What I don't understand is this is just the most trifling ass selfish shit right here. You living with dude, he paying all the bills. How does he not know that you own the building? I don't get it. How does he not know this? And so basically you just using this dude to stack chips. And then she think it's funny. You see this shit? She think this shit funny. Tracy writes, people get their ass beat for less. True that. So I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, see, I got to be honest with you. I think this says more about her in particular than it does all women. I ain't going to put this at the doorstep of all women. That'd be unfair. But look at this trifling ass motherfucker. If he's good enough to live with and y'all doing all this, then why don't y'all just take that? Why don't you just tell him and y'all can just save the money together? I don't get it. What I like to know from any legal minds out there is if and when her boo, her boyfriend, her fool, her simp, however you want to look at it, finds out, does he have any legal recourse to recoup his money? What in the hell? Jenny writes, I don't think it's funny. Brandy writes, she's stupid. Glenn writes, God don't like ugly. Shannon writes, right, so blame him. TNT writes, this is a little scap. A little scap? This is a whole lot scap. Fame writes, she need her head blow the hell off. What? Laura writes, not all women think this is cool. She just messed that man up for the next woman. Sad, right? Right. Nakia writes, she really wasn't all that smart to me. I'm talking, so you just never know. Jerica writes, he lives with her, right? You just never know. You could be living with somebody for a long time and never really know them. You never really know people, quite honestly. Dale writes, she a landlord, he's paying rent, right? So she owned the place, but she lying to him saying, oh, honey, we got to pay these bills. And I wonder, do she really be pressing him about it? Like, honey, you know the rent's due on the 3rd, it's the 5th. What's up with that money? I don't want to get put out. Like, is she playing it all the way out? Damn shame, man. Anthony writes, if she uses a property management firm, he would know she owns the building. True that. I guess she's smart. I guess this is what passes as smart these days. Sean writes, dude sounds a little simpish. Yeah, but let's say, Sean, yes and no. I think on the outside looking in, you could be like, oh, dude's a simp. But is he a simp if he don't know? He a simp because he's trying to step up as a man? Isn't that what women want from a dude? You know, y'all living together, you want him to take care of the major bills. He's being a man. He has no idea. So I don't think that makes him a simp. Is he getting played? Sure, he's getting played. But that don't mean he's a simp. Brenda writes, she's a sick puppy. Right. Sean writes, she has a Jay Leno chin. You notice that? Jared writes, I don't think there's any legal recourse unless they are married. I mean, damn, you could just get scammed like that? Shannon writes, she could also be lying for likes. I thought about that too, Shannon. She really could be. But why would you want to lie for likes on something of this nature? Like, what you get out of that? People think, oh, yeah, I'm playing these niggas. I'm playing him. I just don't get it. Like, but people are right, though. Like, for instance, let's say he moved in with her. They both had separate apartments, but he moves in with her because it just worked out that way for whatever reason. There was less rent, a better place, whatever the case may be. She had less time on the lease or whatever. And he moves in with her. She tells him, like, look, okay, they come to an arrangement of you're going to have to pay, let's say, what's rent these days? You're going to have to pay $1,100 a month, rent and or mortgage. So my mortgage is $1,100 a month. You're going to take care of the mortgage and take care of the major bills. I'm going to stack our chips over here. That's people do that all the time. He'd have no idea. Shannon writes, have you seen social media? Shannon writes, to be honest, most people are dying from pneumonia secondary to COVID. Get the pneumonia vaccine. It's been around forever. Tabitha writes, he won't be a simp after he finds out about this video. See, the thing about doing shit like this, and I'm a big believer in this, is that if I was him, my advice would be to pack your shit and simply move on. And then go get a lawyer and see if you got any legal recourse. And that's it. No more communication. Don't ever talk to her again. Don't answer her text. Do whatever you got to do. Just move on with your life. Because this is so scandalous that she'll end up doing something like this to somebody else, and that shit'll come back on her. See, that's how life works. The shit that you do, you think you're getting off, I'm getting off, okay. It always comes back on you in some shape or form. That's just the way the world works. Let me see. Tifted writes, wasn't this a meme? She is probably recreating it. She'd be a fool to post this on social media. I saw it in 2 different places, 2 different types. I don't know. Could be. TNT writes, even if you knew the rent still got to be paid, and guess what? The real is still too damn high. Jerry writes, 5 years and they didn't have to get a single repair done to call maintenance. He should have known something was up, because usually calling maintenance is a man's job in my experience. You never know the circumstances. Deborah writes, it's cheaper to keep her. It depends. Shannon writes, she still may have to pay a mortgage. Whether he's paying their rent or her mortgage, he's still paying a housing cost. The problem is acting like and boasting that she's getting over. Daryl writes, play it again, Nate. You want me to play it again? I'll play it again for you. Check this out. So she said, direct deposits are going straight to me. Oh man, you can't trust nobody these days. Some men would whoop her ass. So wrong. You're right about that. I think that would be wrong on some levels, but you're right. You're right about that. But again, life will catch up with her. TT writes, love that song. Life will catch up with her. Life will catch up with her. That's all you got to do. When you're doing dirt out here, it always catches up with you. And it comes to you in a form that you can't even see. It might not be immediate. It might affect somebody that you know. I'm telling you, dirt, when you do dirt and you put energy out there on some trying to be slick, that shit comes back on you. Shit comes back on you in ways that you can't even imagine. You can't even imagine. And that's why I say to the fellas out there, you ain't got to put your hands on her or do nothing like that. Just roll out. Sean writes, hey, Nate, I missed the Apple Store meltdown. Did you? This winch tripping. That's hilarious. Daryl writes, I would go to the dark net and hire some hacker and mess up all her ish. You could do that. You could do that. Yeah, you go to dark web. As I've been told, I've never been to the dark web, but I think I know how to get there. But I never had an interest in it. But you could do that. Damn, man, you letting your hands show, huh, Daryl? Damn, you one of those? You gonna go to the dark web? God damn. Deborah writes, what type of income did she have otherwise? I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is that. That's it. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134 if you'd like to share your thoughts. Tony's in the house. He's with us this morning. What you put out always come back harder. The universe is cold like that. It certainly is. It certainly is. And you know, it is. And you never can tell, man. When you start doing that kind of shit, you never know. It might come back to somebody close to you and not even you. You never fucking know. Be careful. That's why I try to be 100 with mine. 100. Glenn writes, he can never trust her again. Absolutely. Tabitha writes, hold on. She owns a building but still paying people for rent. She could find a rich dude. He could buy her another building instead. I collect them small peanuts. I don't know if it's a building or if she owned maybe it's a townhouse or a house. And then she told him when they was dating, she didn't tell him everything. She just told him, like, look, I got to pay this rent. This is what it is. I'm paying my mortgage. This is what it is. He has no idea. He has no idea. And then, like you said, maybe she's using like a go-between organization. So when he pays that rent, he has no idea where it's going. People do that all the time. All the time. Anthony writes, that's an endorsement for Windburn. y'all hilarious. Daryl writes, I wouldn't do it, but that's how angry I would be. Could be. Deborah writes, have y'all ever heard of financial abuse? For all we know, this was her way of getting around his lack of budgeting skills, like cash in a teapot, only bigger. So now you're making excuses for this woman, Deborah. Talking about getting around his lack of budgeting skills. Why not just be honest? Why not just be 100? I don't get it. TNT writes, that's how all landlords feel about their renters. Direct deposit, please, and don't be late. Now, that would be messed up if she charges him late fees. Now, that will be messed up. The rent was late. You know that's an extra $75. You know what I'm saying? Man, these landlords be killing folks, man. Killing folks, man. Woo! These landlords be getting over in the city of Cincinnati. I've heard some horror stories. I'm just going to tell you like that. But I just don't get it. I don't understand being in a relationship with somebody, living with somebody, and just not being honest with them. That's what I don't get. People do what people do. I get it. But why not just be 100? Just be 100. Keep it real all the way. Everybody happy. Nobody's in their feelings. You got nothing to hide. Nobody can say anything to you. Let me see here. What else I want to talk about this morning? Um, it's a bunch going on, actually. So we talked about this story last week, and I like to keep up with stories. And this is another example of humans worse than COVID. This story comes from Chicago, where a woman named Nikita Brown, she spoke with ABC News just yesterday about her encounter that happened back on August 28th. What happened? Well, she was walking her dog on North Avenue Beach in Chicago, and it was after the beach closed at 11 p.m. And she was confronted by a police officer who tried to wrestle her phone out of her hand. Remember the video I showed you? Oh man, it was terrible. They was wrestling back and forth, and then he didn't even arrest her. That's what I thought was so interesting. Like, you're gonna put your hands on a citizen and not even arrest them? And apparently, he was trying to wrestle the phone out of her hand. Let me play this for you. Y'all might have forgot this, but this dude is way worse than COVID. But I'm gonna tell you what she said because she's speaking out now. Check this out. Now she's clearly walking away. She's not a threat. He's telling her to walk away. Okay, so let's stop it right there. So now what we understand is, if you might be wondering, so what are they saying right now? She stopped, in her words, because he didn't have a mask on and she was worried about COVID. So she was trying to tell him, yeah, I'm leaving, but keep your distance. But he kept walking up on her. So she decided she was going to get her phone out and start to record him. Look at what happened. Now, what is he doing? And then he lets her go. Now, was all of that necessary? He did all of that and then let the woman go. Now, her name is Nikita Brown. She talked with ABC News yesterday. She said she feared for her life. She said, quote, I guess I look suspicious. I guess I look suspicious. Quote, I thought I was going to die, she said when she spoke with the ABC News. I thought he was going to kill me. I had it in my mind that I was going to be shot. Now, why would this sister, who's doing nothing wrong, think that she was going to get shot? Well, because we see unarmed black people getting shot all over the country. Quote, I knew if he got me on the floor, I would be dead. She said that she told him, please respect my space. It's COVID. And he just kept walking toward her. But what I don't understand is, I can see if he was in the process of an arrest. That makes sense. But that's not what happened. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot said that after seeing the video, she was quite disturbed by the footage. That officer, as I understand it, has yet to be identified. Why are they protecting the identity of the officer? And some are suggesting that Well, two things. They went back to look the records of this officer. And what they found out is that he's faced 24 misconduct allegations since joining the force in 1998, and that 3 of them were sustained. So he's got a history of doing this kind of stuff. And because he gets away with it, he's like, I can do what I want to do. I am the law. I am the law. So I guess he feels like he's Judge Dredd. He can do what he want to do. Humans worse than COVID. Scenes like this is the reason why black people don't like messing around with the cops. It's not because black people are like on some criminal type stuff. It's because the police are in some cases. It's because the police are in some cases. Like anybody would be afraid of something like this. Okay, great. I'm in the place after dark. Okay, it's not that big a deal. You want to walk me out? Okay, you walk me out. But COVID, so can you keep 6 feet of distance? It's not a big deal. As long as if I'm an officer in that case, my job is to make sure people are not at the beach after 11. I got to do my job. Okay, you know the rules. I need you to disperse. I need you to leave. Okay, officer. If I've been instructed to walk you to the edge of the beach or the park or whatever, that's what I got to do. But hell, COVID. So if you want me to stand back 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet, as long as you're walking in the direction I want you to, what's the big deal? Ain't no big deal, no harm, no foul. But why do you feel the need to put his hands on her? See, that's some old creeps type shit. Dude is a creep. Straight up creep. Good morning to you. Daryl writes, I saw this. He's accosting her. Shannon writes, who recorded them? Excellent question. I don't know. Regina writes, he feeling on her, right? Tracy writes, shout out to the dog. The dog was utterly useless. If that was my dog, he's got to go. You got to go because here I am being accosted. You ain't going to do nothing? You ain't biting nobody? Maybe the dog was like, I don't want to bite the police. Anthony writes, his dog should have torn his ankles up. I agree. Deborah writes, that little dog is like, get off my human. Brenda writes, the cop just wanted to be close to her. That's what I'm thinking too. He's a creep. Woody writes, slave catchers, at it again. Shannon writes, gotta go Facebook Live in these times. Video is instantly transmitted. I agree with you 100%. The Lamidio writes, I am back. What are you guys up to? What's up, Lamido? Lamido? Good morning. What does that mean exactly? Why does he have a job? Because you can put your hands on black people. You can assault black people and keep your job in America. You can be rude and be disrespectful to black people and get away with it. Just a black person. I would have grabbed his balls and dug my fingers into his eyes. Clarence writes, I wish she was out walking her bully pit. Right. Sydney writes, I am completely legit and I still fear the police. I get nervous anytime they get behind me. Do I get nervous? I don't get nervous. I just become more aware, but I'm prepared. All my shit is in order and I'm prepared to go to jail. I can leave and go to the store. I'm prepared to go to jail. I can be leaving to go pick up my daughter. I'm prepared to go to jail. So when you change your mentality, it becomes less of an issue. See, a lot of people don't want to be in the back of the police car. I don't care about being in the back of the police car. A lot of people don't want to go downtown and get locked up. Yeah, it'll be an inconvenience, but I don't care about that. Let's go. Because if I have a case, if you do something, if you violate my rights, I'm going to sit there through the process like this. And then when it's my turn and I get my lawyers, and I get a chance to get there, it's a wrap. Deborah writes, a truck driver that was parked there, right? The security guard just wanted to feel what it was like to manhandle a black woman. All that was uncalled for. I agree. Danita writes, Fifi said, why should we both get tased? He talking to you. You brought me to this beach. And look what you did, human. Brought me to this beach. Now the popo's on our ass. Shh, I ain't going to jail with you. Is that what Fifi said? That's hilarious. Bunky writes, why does she just drag him around and take his rent money? Cardi B did the similar things and y'all was cool with it. Huh? Nobody was cool with it. Huh? Deborah writes, everybody doesn't get a dog for protection. Some people just want companionship. Look, if I get a dog, I need a dual purpose. Protection, protect this property, and or me and my family if we out and about, and also companionship. Man, you got a job to play. I ain't paying you to be my damn friend. I'm paying you for protection. Oh my God. Any dog owners out there, holler if you hear me on that. Drop writes, good morning, Choppers. It's Friday. I ain't got no job. I got to call Nate. Okay. All good. My phone's been acting up lately, so I might have received some phone calls. Let me double check here. Yeah, I've been receiving phone calls this morning. Yeah, I've been receiving phone calls all morning, I see here. Yeah, a bunch of folks try to call in. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, my phone's been acting up. Call me back. I'll try to put you straight on. Sorry about that. Let me see. So the dog bites the security and she has to pay his medical bills for being on private property. Could be. Yeah, she missed like 4 or 5 calls this morning. My apologies on that. It's all on me. But my time is short. So before we roll out of here, another word from our sponsor, and we'll be right back.
The words for today are to grow a better business. It takes 60 seconds for the universe, through the invisible law of attraction, to be fully activated in your life. God's invisible law of attraction is available to you today because you are just 60 seconds away from growing a better business. Take the next 60 seconds and grow a better business by telling a business story for 60 seconds 3 times a day for 21 days. Why 21 days? Because that's how long it will take to change your life. Now say this better business story out loud 3 times a day. It is my divine and human right as an entrepreneur to grow and prosper my business so that I can bless others. My business is growing, expanding, increasing in revenue and profits today. For a free ebook, visit renewcommunitychurch.org.
I'm reading that there's some people in Avondale that are not too happy. So apparently there's been a whole lot of those flyers. You know how you can see you see those in a lot of political ads. So it's got like 2 stakes. They can put them in the ground and then you can see the flyer there. Well, apparently in parts of Avondale, somebody has been putting flyers out there promoting a gun show down in Florence, Kentucky. And members of the community are upset because they're like, well, you know, gun violence is still an issue in Avondale. So why is somebody going to Avondale to put these flyers up about a gun show? And I don't know how to read that. Maybe they're thinking, since there's so much news about gun violence in Avondale, that they're trying to be smart about it. They're like, well, maybe the residents in Avondale, the honest residents, want to get strapped up. Quote, when I first saw it, I was like, well, here we go again. That's from Mitchell Morris from the Cincinnati Works Phoenix program. Apparently several red and yellow signs promoting a gun show in Florence have been plastered all over parts of Avondale. And it's just very interesting because you know, it's very interesting because there's a quote here from Pastor Ennis Tate. He said, it's not that the gun show that's the problem, but it's the messaging in a community that's trying to fight gun violence. Quote, but when it really comes to guns, you know, the people that are in our communities, they don't go to gun shows. They don't get their weapons from gun shows because 1, the restrictions, and then 2, the complications, the background checks, and things of that nature. So we're trying to deal with the broader issue. We don't necessarily support gun shows, but we don't necessarily support gun shows, but we are opposing them. Tate and other advocates for the community call themselves gatekeepers and will often remove signage or messages that don't align with what the community is fighting for. Quote, anytime you're wrestling with something like gun violence, we don't want things that invite people to do things or go places that are going to bring them back in our community. So you may see a sign pop up in Avondale, but it will not stay on ground long. So that's Pastor Ennis Tate saying that since Avondale is dealing with gun violence, that they don't like it when people put signs up promoting gun shows. And I'm not sure I agree with his thinking on that, quite honestly. I'm not sure that one has anything to do with the other. So there's a couple things. So in white communities, it appears that when they have gun violence, everybody strap up. The honest people get strapped up. But in majority black communities, when you have gun violence, they want to disarm everybody in the neighborhood. You know, I've said it for years. I'll say it again. It's a great opportunity, but why aren't they doing the reverse in Avondale? Why aren't they saying, look, the good people in Avondale should be getting their certifications and learning how to use guns? Why aren't we promoting that in Avondale rather than trying to hide it? This is almost like the same thing they do with sex. Like religious people are trying to put a veil on and try to hide sex from minors because they think that's going to stop them from having sex, but it doesn't. To me, it always makes more sense to arm young people with the knowledge. So when they actually end up having sex, they know how to have safe sex. Why don't we have that same mentality when it comes to Avondale, even with the young people there? Why aren't we saying, look, let's make sure that you know how to use a firearm. You know, proper gun safety. Listen, if I live in Avondale and I want to get strapped up because I'm afraid, why shouldn't I have the right to do that? One has nothing to do with the other. Gun shows in Florence, Kentucky has nothing to do with gun violence in Avondale. We treat black folks like they're children sometimes. Like the little bitty children. Oh, we got to take this sign down because they're going to flood to Florence and buy guns. Let them. And if the honest, good people in Avondale want to get strapped up, let them. That's their God-given constitutional 1776 rights. Let them do that. What's wrong with that? Those ain't the problems. That's not the problem. The honest, God-fearing people that just want to protect their house, their home, their livelihood, that ain't the problem. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I know that Pastor Ennis Tate is a somebody and he's got a lot of deep ties and all that kind of stuff. And I know he comes from the streets and all that kind of stuff. And he's got a perspective that's very, very valuable and all that kind of shit. But that don't make no damn sense to me. This is treating black people like they're children. Like, let me take these signs down before some people in Avondale think, oh, we can go to Florence and go to the gun show. Let them. Good for them. Maybe that's what we need in Avondale. Maybe what we need to see is more gun safety classes that are geared toward the youth. Maybe we need that. I just don't understand how one has anything to do with the other. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it. And if I'm doing a gun show in Florence, Kentucky, on some levels, okay, you hearing about all this violence in Avondale, you might be thinking that maybe some of the God-fearing good folks in Avondale want to get strapped up. Maybe so, I don't know. Quote, you know, when you got 9-year-olds getting hit, no, it's too serious to play with. You know, it's all hands on deck right now. Yeah, sure, people going to do what they do to make money, you know, but we got to educate ourselves and educate our kids that just because you see that sign don't mean you got to go out there and buy guns. Huh? That's from Morris. Mitchell Morris. That's a quote attributed to him. Anybody know Mitchell Morris? Tag him, let him know we talking about. Anybody know Pastor Ennis Tate? Tag him, let him know we talking about him. Because I challenge their logic. I challenge their logic. Number one, a 9-year-old couldn't go to a gun store. They can't go down to Florence. You can't be a minor and go down to Florence, Kentucky and get no damn weapon. Come on, Mitchell Morris. You're supposed to know that. But if they mama and daddy want to do that, they're American citizens. They got every right to do that. Like I said, when it comes to black folks, they want to disarm us. That. I ain't with none of that. It's counterintuitive. Everybody else strapping up to protect themselves, but we supposed to play the disarm game. F all of that. You as a black person in Avondale, as long as you don't have no legal disabilities, got every right to get strapped up to protect yourself. And there's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. You're not contributing to the crime rate, not one bit. It has nothing to do with you at all. Tell me I'm wrong. It's got nothing to do with you. I just missed a call from a 501 number. Sorry about that. My phone system is acting up. It's not giving me what I'm looking for. Oh, we got a call coming in right now. Here it is. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Hold on 1 second, brother. Hold on. Let me make sure I got you already plugged in, because I do not currently. All right, let's try it again. Good morning, brother. Welcome to the show. Yo, good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, talk show guy.
Yeah, caller. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm effing disgusted. I'm
That's
effing
different.
disgusted.
That's different.
It's the mixed messages for me. It's the mixed messages for me. You think the government's trying to disarm you, yet you trust them to give you to keep you inoculated against an alleged worldwide pandemic. That's the mixed message. You got to decide on when you're going to trust the government. You saying take the vaccine. You're calling people out. You're calling out people all types of assholes for not having the vaccine.
No,
but you just said the government's trying to.
You put words in my mouth, bro. I've never said that.
You make people who don't have the vaccine seem unsavory.
No, I don't.
Yes, the hell you do.
No, I don't. Not at all.
Okay. But you trust the government, but you're saying that the government is trying to disarm you. Make up your mind. Do you trust the goddamn government or not? You're confusing my people here.
No, I might be confusing you, but you were already confused.
No, you're confusing my people. I'm sitting here reading their comments, and I'm like, see, they and part of this is him. Part of this is him. He's confusing people. A lot of these people, much to their own dismay, they follow you. They follow you and hinge on every word you say and look to you for guidance and leadership. And right now, you're not providing.
I appreciate it, though. You give me way too much credit, but I appreciate it.
I am not. But I just want to say this, last night I was 4-2. I gave y'all 4 winners last night. As far as sports investing, I was 4-2. I gave y'all 4 out of 6 winners. And I'm just going to tell you like this. The hell I didn't.
Yesterday, you only talked about the Dallas game. You didn't give us any other picks or anything. In the Dallas.
Oh, I didn't get to show none of the props.
No, you didn't give us no picks yesterday except for Dallas and Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay beat Dallas.
Okay. No, they did not.
No,
I was not. I said Tampa would win, but they didn't cover the 9. That was one of the 2 that I lost. Hold on, school bus is going by. Pardon me. But on my own damn personal show, on my own person, and the best I was on the best political podcast in the nation yesterday. I was a guest on there, the Black Not Democrats, show.
Yeah,
on my YouTube and my podcast, and I believe on Drops, I gave y'all 6. I gave 6. Maybe yesterday I was rushed for time on your show, and on other shows in the area, I was posting in the comments.
Okay.
All these, because we made good cake last night because Tom Brady for 3 touchdowns was like was plus 145. That's almost money and a half. Antonio Brown to catch a touchdown was plus 180. That's almost double your money. We made good cake last night.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you like this. Sunday, bet the goddamn farm on the Vikings. Minus 3.5. They're going to beat the brakes off the Bengals. Kind of like what you said. The Bengals coach is just not ill. This is a winnable game for a real NFL coach. We don't have that in Cincinnati. This is a glorified high school coach, a glorified small college coach. You could look in his eyes and see he just ain't got it in him. This is not a leader of men. And like I told you last year, I'll say it again. A leader of men in 2020, 2021, a leader of men does not go by the name Zach.
Zach.
That is such a 7th grade name. I know there was a president named Zach Taylor. Great. That was 1800, 1700, however long ago that was. This is 2021. Men who lead men don't go by the name of Zach. You understand? Zach and Bobby, those type of names. Very kiddie names. You understand? But I just want to reiterate, please, sir, the vaccine talk, either just get it or don't. Why can't it just be that? Showing all these goofy ass clips, of whatever. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care who likes it. Until this COVID shows that the second you catch it, you'll have a catastrophic seizure and die on the spot. I'm not thinking about the vaccine. It's like the 8th thing on my mind right now. Until I see somebody catch it, soon as this virulent disease hits you, you start shaking and foaming at the mouth and die on the spot. Until that happens, I ain't worried, B. It's gonna be what it is. Magic Johnson survived 30 years. It'll be 30 years this November that he survived with HIV, a disease that people was dying instantly, shriveling up, becoming skinny within 6 months back in the 90s and 80s. And he's fat and happy 30 years ago, 30 years later. Big as fuck, Magic Johnson. He heavy as hell. Look like that stuff ain't never bothered him. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is. Do what you're going to do. Don't let the talk show hosts punk you. Don't let none of the talk show hosts or none of these callers and they sob stories punk you. If you don't want to take that vaccine, don't. If you're going to take it, do it and shut the fuck up. It's just like being a vegan and drinking water. I don't care. You don't have to tell me every time, hey, I drink 8 gallons of water a day. I don't care. If you're not going to take the vaccine, don't take it. If you're going to take it, do it. And that's all I got, B.
That's all I
the
need.
farm on the Vikings, minus 3.5. Oh!
Just half-hearted. Where's that brother's all over the place with his half-truths? Whose birthday is it, Nat? Oh, okay. What's up with you, Nat? Happy birthday to you. I love Virgos. Adele writes, I agree with the wolf. Do you? Let me see. Brenda writes, caller mixing fruit. He wants a yes or a no. Bunky writes, fame is making a valid point. Nate, you are vax shaming heavy. Really? No, I'm mask shaming. I'll tell you what I'm shaming. I'm shaming people with a mask. I don't need to go over it. I mean, just check the tapes and shit. I'm very, very consistent. But I'll reiterate it for the people in the back of their own brains. As I've said, and I'll say again, when it comes to the vaccine, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to present the facts and the relevant information to you. Now, with the mask, the video we just showed was somebody that was talking about a mask. You mixing issues here. I am mask shaming you because wearing a mask is super simple. Ain't no real harm to that. If you can't wear a mask, you're a human worse than COVID. Vaccination, that's a personal decision. I haven't gone that far. I'm not there with it yet. Hell, the FDA just approved it 2 weeks ago. So no, I never went there with it. But I think sometimes people hear what they want to hear. So no. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey. It's Friday. I ain't got no job. That's right. I'm retired. It's your West Side connection, your number one fan, the most hated and sometimes congratulated. Shout out to the alt middle, Fame Rothstein, and the betting public sports show. Get to the bag. You know who it is. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Welcome.
Well, thank you. And again, I'd like to give a shout out to Fame Rothstein. He was a guest yesterday on the sports edition of the Black Not Democrat podcast, season 1, episode 72. Shout out to Fame. It was a great time having him on. Now, Mr. Ivey, the mandate that our president issued yesterday, it was a joke. This man is a joke. He's going to mandate a vaccine for federal employees, but not mandate United States postal workers. What? Why were they exempt, Mr. Ivey? And again, I need somebody who is a supporter, someone who capes, someone who dances for the Biden-Harris administration to call your show and explain to me what the hell this administration is doing. Now, Mr. Ivey, I know you've been on the CDC website, and I know you see that 40,462,000 Americans have contracted confirmed cases of COVID-19. Out of that 40.4 million people, 646,170 have succumbed to the virus. Mr. Ivey, please do the math, sir, because no one ever talks about that 40 or 30 some million people, 39 some million people who have recovered from the virus and have the antibodies within their system to protect them from future infections. Unlike the people who've been vaccinated and have never contracted the COVID-19, they are still getting the COVID-19 virus after vaccination. They're not reporting the numbers. They're not reporting the deaths. But there are a number of people who have taken one of the 3 vaccines, only one of the 3 that are being administered to the American people, only one has clear authorization and has been approved. All the other ones are still under emergency authorization. Now, again, this is the Biden administration. Something is wrong because we're going in reverse when it comes to this COVID-19. So I just want to say, Mr. Ivey, it is something wrong when the president mandates federal employees and contractors, teachers who teach Head Start. He's not mandating postal workers. I wonder why. Maybe someone can tell me what is going on with this administration. And by the way, why would the president jeopardize someone's employment by mandating them get a shot that they may not want or may not need, and then he just walks away? He pounds the podium and walks away and does not take one question? Somebody needs to explain that. That's all I got, sir. And again, get to the bag and get with Fame Rothstein of the Betting Public Sports Show, because the NFL is back. It's Friday. Be safe in them streets. Watch your back. Protect your family. And I'm out.
I just bring people together, man. I'm glad I could bring the two of you together, man. Spectacular. I love the partnership. It's beautiful. You didn't ask these motherfuckers questions of Trump. Anything Trump did, you was like, yes, sir. Any and everything he did. So now you want to ask a bunch of questions. This guy. Happy birthday, Nat. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Sean writes, does he want some cheese with that wine? That's all I heard was wine. Wine. Listen, folks, that is my time. Actually, I thought I'd end at the top of the hour, but I missed a few phone calls. Have an excellent rest of your Friday. Have an excellent weekend. I'll be back with you and hopefully better than ever on Monday morning. We'll chop it up on everything that happened over the weekend. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family. And we'll talk real soon. Until next time, I'm Nathan Ivey, and I'm out.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand. I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a I don't care. Did the for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share.